Adrian Cross fired me for losing $1.04 million. The problem was, the money had never been lost. It had been divided among 4 fake vendors, and 27 minutes after security escorted me out, the FBI called to ask whether Adrian knew I had copied the invoices. My name is Lauren Hayes. I was 31 and worked as the senior compliance accountant for Apex Response Solutions, an emergency logistics company headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. Apex supplied temporary medical units, mobile kitchens, water systems, and emergency housing after hurricanes, wildfires, and floods. Most people saw photographs of our equipment arriving after disasters and assumed the company was heroic. They didn't see the spreadsheets behind those photographs. Every generator had to be documented. Every trailer needed a serial number. Every federal reimbursement required proof that the equipment existed, had been delivered, and had not already been billed to another contract. One duplicated invoice could delay millions of dollars in payments. One false vendor could trigger a federal investigation. My job was to make sure neither happened. I was good at it because I distrusted perfect numbers. Real business was messy. Deliveries arrived late, fuel prices changed, vendors made mistakes, people typed wrong invoice numbers. Whenever a report balanced too neatly, I looked twice. That habit was how I found the missing million. It began on a Tuesday morning with a routine reconciliation. Apex had completed a federally funded housing project after severe flooding in Louisiana. The total contract was worth $38 million. I was reviewing the final reimbursement package when I noticed 4 mobilization deposits. Each payment had gone to a different vendor. Granite Peak Advisory received $268,000. Desert Star Procurement received $246,000. Westbridge Field Services received $271,000. Kestrel Risk Management received $255,000. Together, they totaled exactly $1.04 million. There were no equipment serial numbers attached, no employee timesheets, no delivery confirmations, no photographs from the field, just 4 invoices containing nearly identical language. I called Naomi Price, our internal audit manager. "Are you busy?" "That depends. Is this a real question or an accountant's threat? I found 4 consulting payments." "That doesn't sound exciting. They total exactly $1,040,000. She stopped joking. "Which project?" "Louisiana Temporary Housing." "Were they subcontractors?" "That's what I'm trying to determine." Naomi came to my office and studied the invoices. "These descriptions are identical. Almost. One says strategic deployment support, another says deployment strategy support. That's creative. The vendor addresses are different, but the formatting is the same. Who approved them?" I scrolled down. Each invoice had been approved by Adrian Cross. Adrian was Apex's chief operating officer and the public face of the company. He was 41, confident, polished, and exceptionally good at appearing calm when everyone else was panicking. He remembered employees' birthdays. He visited disaster sites wearing work boots without a scratch on them. When journalists interviewed him, he talked about service sacrifice and rebuilding communities. When executives challenged him privately, he reminded them how easily their decisions could be presented as obstacles to helping disaster victims. Adrian never said, "Do what I want." He said, "Explain why you're willing to delay aid to families who have already lost everything." That sentence had ended more arguments than any executive order. Naomi pointed at the invoices. "Maybe the supporting files were stored separately." "Maybe. You don't believe that." "I believe we should ask." I sent Adrian a brief email. "I'm completing the Louisiana reconciliation and need the contract's work products ownership declarations and payment authorization records for the 4 attached vendors." He called me less than 3 minutes later. "Lauren, what exactly are you looking for?" "Support for the mobilization deposits. They were emergency vendors." "Then we should have emergency procurement forms. The project moved quickly. The payments were made 6 weeks after deployment." He paused. "You're reviewing the wrong category. They were charged directly to the federal project. They were reclassified later. I don't see a reclassification. Then someone on your team hasn't posted it. Who requested the change? Lauren, I have another meeting. I still need the records. His voice softened. You know what your problem is? I'm sure you're about to tell me. You treat every missing document like a crime scene. I haven't called it a crime. Not yet. The line went silent for a second. Then he said, "Send me your reconciliation file." It isn't finished. Send it anyway. Once I complete the review, I'm instructing you to send it now. I looked through the glass wall of my office. Naomi was still standing outside. I'll upload it to the audit folder. No, email it directly to me. Why? Another pause. You work for Apex, Lauren, not the Department of Justice. He ended the call. Naomi stepped back inside. What did he say? He wants the unfinished reconciliation. Are you sending it? Yes. You think he'll alter it? I think he wants to know what I know. Before sending the file, I created a read-only copy and generated a digital hash, a unique value proving the document's contents had not changed. Then I sent the file to Adrian. I also called Rachel Kim. Rachel was an employment and corporate fraud attorney I had met 2 years earlier during a compliance training session. I had never hired her before, but 6 months earlier she had given me advice I remembered. If you ever believe records may disappear, don't take company property. Preserve evidence legally, document how you accessed it, and speak to counsel before confronting anyone. When she answered, I explained what I had found. Do you have evidence of fraud? She asked. No, I have unsupported payments. Do federal funds appear to be involved? Yes. Have you altered or downloaded anything outside your ordinary duties? No. Good. Send me your timeline, your job description, and the document hashes. Do not send confidential files until we establish how they can be preserved legally. What if they disable my account? Write down the exact folder paths and file names. Use the company's whistleblower process. Copy the audit committee if the policy permits it. Our policy says compliance concerns involving senior executives must be reported to the General Counsel and Audit Committee Chair. Then follow it exactly. That afternoon, I submitted a confidential report. I didn't accuse Adrian of stealing. I stated that 4 vendors lacked supporting documentation, shared unusual invoice characteristics, and had received $1.04 million in federally reimbursable funds. I copied Victor Lang, Apex's general counsel, and Elaine Mercer, the chair of the board's audit committee. At 6:12 that evening, Victor replied, "Thank you. We will review the matter discreetly. Do not discuss it with other employees." At 6:19, Naomi sent me a message. Adrian just asked whether we've been discussing Louisiana vendors. I stared at the screen. Only Victor, Elaine, Rachel, Naomi, and I knew about the report. Someone had already warned Adrian. The next morning, my access to the federal reimbursement system failed. I called IT. My account is locked. The technician sounded uncomfortable. I received an executive security request, from whom I'm not authorized to say. Is Naomi's account locked? I can't discuss another employee. I walked to Naomi's office. Her door was open, but she wasn't there. Adrian's assistant appeared behind me. Mr. Cross needs you in the conference room. Adrian was waiting with Victor and the Director of Human Resources. A camera in the corner showed that the meeting was being recorded. Victor gestured toward a chair. Lauren, please sit. I remained standing. What happened to my system access? Adrian folded his hands. That's what we need to discuss. He turned a laptop toward me. On the screen was the Louisiana reconciliation. My file showed a $1.04 million shortage, not 4 unsupported payments. A shortage assigned to my accounting code. I leaned closer. That isn't my report. Adrian looked tired rather than angry. Lauren, the system history says otherwise. Open the version log. Victor said, we've already reviewed it. Then you know my file was changed. Adrian exhaled slowly. Your credentials posted an adjustment removing the 4 vendor payments from the project. That created a $1 million discrepancy. I did not post an adjustment. Then how did your credentials do it? From which device? The HR director shifted in her chair. Adrian answered, your office workstation. What time? Last night at 8:43. I left at 6:30. Your badge shows you re-entered the building at 8:31. I didn't. Adrian gave me a sympathetic look. Lauren, please think carefully before you say anything else. You think I came back, changed the report, and created $1 million loss? We don't know what happened. You just said my badge and credentials were used. I'm giving you an opportunity to explain. Show me the security footage. Victor closed the laptop. This is an internal investigation. Then investigate. Adrian looked down. For a moment he appeared genuinely hurt. I trusted you. The performance was so controlled that even I almost questioned myself. You asked me about those vendors yesterday, he continued. I explained that the payments were being reclassified. Instead of waiting, you submitted an accusation against me. I submitted a compliance report. You implied I approved false payments. I asked for documentation. And when you didn't get an immediate answer, you altered the project ledger. No. The HR director spoke gently. Lauren, do you have any personal financial difficulties we should know about? I stared at her. What does that have to do with anything? We're trying to understand whether someone may have pressured you. No one pressured me. Adrian shook his head sadly. This isn't about punishment. If you made a mistake and tried to hide it, we can discuss that. You want me to confess to something I didn't do? No one used the word confess. You didn't have to. Victor slid a document across the table. It was a paid administrative leave notice. I was instructed to surrender my laptop, badge, phone, and office keys. As security escorted me through the accounting department, conversations stopped. People avoided eye contact. One analyst whispered, "Is the money really gone?" Before I could answer, the guard told me to keep moving. Outside, Naomi was waiting near the parking lot. They suspended me too, she said. Why? They said I helped you manipulate the audit. Did they show you evidence? They showed me a chat message. What message? Naomi held up her personal phone. A screenshot appeared to show her writing, "Once Lauren moves the $1 million, I'll certify the project before anyone checks." That's fake, I said. I know. Where did it come from? They said it was recovered from my company phone. Did you write anything similar? No. Her eyes filled with tears. My husband was laid off last month. If I lose this job, you won't. You don't know that. She was right. I didn't. My own phone rang. Rachel. I answered immediately. Don't speak to the company again without me, she said. They suspended me. I know. You forwarded me the leave notice. They changed the reconciliation. Did you see who modified it? No. Did they accuse you of taking money? Not directly. They will. How do you know? Because 30 seconds ago, Apex's outside counsel sent me a preservation demand, accusing you of misappropriating federal project funds. My hands went cold. They're saying I stole it? They're saying $1,040,000 is unaccounted for, and that the discrepancy was created using your credentials. Naomi covered her mouth. Rachel continued. Lauren, listen carefully. Do you still have the original document hashes? Yes. And your timeline? Yes. Good. I'm submitting them with a protected disclosure. To whom? The Office of Inspector General, overseeing the federal contract. The call ended. 24 hours later, Adrian held a company-wide video meeting. I watched from home because a coworker sent me the live stream link. He stood on stage wearing no tie, his sleeves rolled up. I want to address a painful situation, he began. He explained that a serious financial discrepancy had been discovered. He said the company had placed 2 employees on leave. He said leadership was cooperating fully. Then his voice shook. The hardest part is that these were people we trusted. Comments immediately appeared beside the live stream. Who did it? Was it accounting? Is the company in danger? Adrian looked toward the camera. I will not identify anyone while the investigation continues. I will only say that no title, friendship, or personal hardship excuses taking resources intended for disaster survivors. He had not used my name, but everyone knew. By evening 3, coworkers had removed me from social media. The next morning, a local business website published an article. Apex Response probes missing federal funds. The article referred to an unnamed senior accounting employee. Someone posted my photograph in the comments. Naomi called me crying. My mother saw the article. Don't respond online. They're calling us thieves. That's what Adrian wants. How can you be so calm? I'm not calm. Then why do you sound like that? Because panic doesn't create evidence. At noon, Adrian called my personal phone. I let it ring twice before answering. Rachel is supposed to handle communication. I'm not calling as an executive. What are you calling as a friend? We were never friends. He sighed. That attitude is why this became so ugly. You accused me of stealing federal money. I haven't accused you publicly. You gave the public every detail except my name. I'm trying to protect the company. From the report I filed, from the missing million. The million isn't missing. There was silence. What did you say? The payments exist. The vendors received them. You altered the ledger. No, someone used my credentials. You can't prove that. I don't need to prove it to you. His voice became colder. Lauren signed the severance agreement. Admit that you made an unauthorized adjustment while attempting to correct a reconciliation error. The company will decline to pursue criminal charges. You want me to admit I created the discrepancy? It's the cleanest outcome. For whom? For everyone. Does Naomi have to confess too? She made poor decisions because she trusted you. You forged her messages. He laughed quietly. Be very careful. About what? Accusing people when you have no access, no files, and no allies? He ended the call. The FBI called 27 minutes later. Ms. Hayes, my name is Special Agent Daniel Ruiz. I'm with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Am I under investigation? I'd prefer to discuss that with you and your attorney present. That isn't reassuring. I understand. Ms. Kim provided your contact information with your authorization. What is this about payments made under the Louisiana Emergency Housing Contract? I looked toward the window. A black SUV had pulled into the parking area outside my apartment. Are you outside? No, and please don't assume every dark vehicle belongs to us. Despite everything, I nearly laughed. He continued, We're requesting an interview tomorrow morning. Until then, do not contact any vendor involved in the transactions. Do not attempt to access company systems. Preserve all personal communications with Apex employees. Does Adrian know you called? I can't discuss investigative steps. Did he report me? A pause. Ms. Hayes, people who report missing money are not always the same people who caused it to disappear. That was all he would say. The interview lasted 3 hours. Agent Ruiz and a forensic accountant asked how I had discovered the payments. They asked why I had created document hashes. They asked whether I knew anyone associated with Granite Peak Desert Star Westbridge or Kestrel. I did not. Then they showed me photographs. Each vendor's mailing address led to either an empty office suite or a commercial mailbox. All 4 companies had been formed within 11 days of each other. Their registered agent was the same attorney. The attorney had previously represented Adrian's older brother, Marcus Cross. Agent Ruiz placed one more document in front of me. It showed transfers from the 4 vendors to an investment company called Cobalt Ridge Holdings. Do you recognize that name, Nober? Mr. Cross owned 70% of it, Adrian. His brother, Marcus. What about the other 30%? Ruiz closed the folder. We're still tracing ownership. I understood his meaning. They believed Adrian was involved, but they did not yet have enough proof. The next week became a war over credibility. Apex terminated me officially. The letter stated that I had violated financial controls, removed confidential information, and refused to cooperate. Adrian offered me 8 months of salary if I signed an agreement accepting responsibility for an unintentional accounting misstatement. Rachel read the document and laughed. He wants your signature more than he wants silence. Why? Because he needs an innocent explanation for the ledger change. What happens if I refuse? He escalates. He did. 2 days later, Phoenix police arrived at my apartment with a warrant to seize an external hard drive Adrian claimed contained stolen corporate files. The hard drive was found in my coat closet. I had never seen it before. An officer placed it in an evidence bag. Ms. Hayes, are you saying someone entered your home? I'm saying that drive is not mine. My apartment showed no signs of forced entry. Adrian's attorney released a statement within hours. Company evidence recovered from former employees' residence. Naomi called me. How did he get it into your apartment? I don't know. Who has a key? My landlord. My brother. The cleaning service. Anyone from Apex. I started to say no. Then I remembered. 3 months earlier, Apex had sent a technology contractor to install a secure router for remote work. Rachel contacted Agent Ruiz. The FBI requested the drive before the local police completed their review. The device contained copies of the altered ledger and the 4 vendor invoices. It also contained a folder titled Lauren Personal. Inside were bank transfer instructions to an account under my name. The account was real, but it had been opened 2 weeks earlier using a digital copy of my driver's license. Whoever created it had planned carefully. They wanted the evidence to be discovered after my termination. Rachel examined the account documents. This signature isn't yours. No. The phone number belongs to a prepaid device, so we can't trace it. Maybe not, but look at the identification file. My license image had been scanned at unusually high resolution. The only company record containing that exact scan was my employment verification file. HR access required executive authorization. Adrian had framed me using documents from his own company, but proving he personally ordered it was another matter. Then Naomi disappeared. She stopped answering my calls. Rachel told me not to contact her again. Why, she may be cooperating with the company. She knows the messages were forged. She also has children and a mortgage. 3 days later, Adrian announced that Naomi had admitted helping me manipulate the reconciliation. He held another live stream. This time, he cried openly. I believed these employees shared our mission. I defended them when others raised concerns. I was wrong. Naomi appeared in a pre-recorded clip. Her face was pale. I made choices I regret, she said. I trusted someone who told me we were correcting mistakes. I should have asked more questions. The recording ended before she named me. Adrian didn't need her to. Online comments demanded my arrest. Rachel placed her phone on the table. He has what he wanted. A witness. A frightened witness. She betrayed me. Or she's buying time. For what? Rachel turned the phone toward me. Naomi had sent her a one-line email before the video aired. I said exactly what they demanded. Check the reflection. We replayed Naomi's statement. Behind the camera, reflected in a glass cabinet, stood Adrian and Victor. Victor held several pages. Adrian was looking at Naomi's phone. They had supervised the recording. Agent Ruiz obtained the unedited footage through a federal subpoena. The missing 12 minutes showed Adrian threatening Naomi with criminal charges unless she read the statement. You helped Lauren, he said on the video. That makes you part of the fraud. I didn't help her steal anything. Then say you trusted her and made a mistake. That will make everyone think she did it. That isn't your problem. I won't lie. Adrian leaned closer. You have 2 children. Think about what happens if their mother is indicted for theft of federal funds. Naomi began crying. Victor placed the statement in front of her. Read it, Adrian said, or we call the police now. That video changed the investigation, but Adrian still didn't know the FBI had it. The board scheduled a special meeting to review my appeal and Adrian's recommendation that Apex sue me for damages. Rachel advised me not to attend. Agent Ruiz surprised her. Let her go. Why? Rachel asked. Because Mr. Cross believes he has controlled every room so far. The meeting was held at Apex headquarters. Elaine Mercer sat at the head of the table. Adrian sat beside her with Victor and two outside attorneys. Naomi was not present. When I entered, Adrian gave me a disappointed smile. You could have ended this weeks ago. By confessing, by accepting responsibility. Elaine raised one hand. We are not here for speeches. Lauren, you have 20 minutes. I connected my laptop to the screen. First, I displayed the original reconciliation hash and the altered version. The two values were different. The document presented as my work was modified after I sent it to Adrian. One of his attorneys interrupted. That does not prove who modified it. No, the system logs do. I displayed the login time, 8:43 p.m. Then I displayed the building entry record showing my badge had re-entered at 8:31. Adrian leaned back. We've already seen this. You haven't seen the parking records. My vehicle had exited the company garage at 6:34 and had not returned. Someone used my badge without my car entering the property. Adrian said, You could have returned another way. I live 24 miles from the office. My apartment garage camera shows my car arriving at 7:09 and remaining there all night. That proves where your car was. Correct, he smiled. Not where you were. I expected that. I displayed a receipt from a grocery delivery accepted at my apartment at 8:38, along with the building camera showing me receiving it. Adrian shrugged. Then someone else used your badge and credentials. Exactly. Elaine looked at him. Adrian's expression remained calm. That supports our concern about Lauren's security practices. He was good. Even cornered, he turned my evidence into another accusation. Then Rachel displayed the forged bank account documents. The identity image used to open this account came from Lauren's HR file. Victor stiffened. That's speculation. The file contains an invisible tracking mark applied by Apex's verification provider. One of the outside attorneys turned toward Victor. You told us the identity documents came from her personal drive. That was the information I received. From whom Victor glanced at Adrian. Adrian said nothing. Rachel continued. Only 3 individuals accessed Lauren's complete identity record during the relevant period, the HR director, Victor Lang, and Adrian Cross. The room changed. Adrian leaned forward. This is becoming absurd. Lauren stole a company drive, created a bank account, and now she's blaming anyone who discovered it? The conference room door opened. Agent Ruiz entered with 2 other federal agents. Adrian's face went still. Ruiz addressed Elaine. Ms. Mercer, the FBI is executing warrants related to suspected wire fraud, theft of federal funds, witness intimidation, and obstruction of justice. Adrian stood. This is a board meeting. Yes, sir. You cannot just walk in here. Ruiz handed him a document. Actually, we can. Agents entered the executive hallway. Employees gathered behind the glass walls. Adrian turned toward me. You did this. No, you called the FBI because you were fired. I spoke to them because you used 4 fake companies to move federal money. That's a lie. Agent Ruiz placed a phone on the table. We recovered this device yesterday. Adrian looked at Victor. Victor's face had lost all color. The device belonged to the prepaid number used to open the fake bank account under my name. It had been found in Victor's vacation home. Ruiz played a recording recovered from its cloud backup. Victor's voice came first. The account is open. Then Adrian's. Good. Put enough activity through it to make it look used. What about the drive? Place it after she's fired. Police will assume she panicked and took the records. And Naomi, she'll cooperate once she understands she could lose her children. Elaine closed her eyes. Adrian pointed at Victor. He recorded me without my knowledge. Victor stared at him. You told me the phone was untraceable. You handled the account. Because you ordered me to, Adrian's control finally cracked. You were the general counsel. You approved everything. I advised you to stop. You created the vendors. Your brother created them. Because you introduced us to the attorney. They were no longer defending themselves. They were completing the FBI's case. Agent Ruiz let them continue for nearly a minute before speaking. "Mr. Cross, please place your hands where I can see them." Adrian looked around the room. For years he had controlled people by deciding which version of events they would hear first. But there was no audience left to manipulate, only witnesses. He was arrested in the same conference room where he had tried to force me to confess. Victor was arrested later that afternoon. Federal investigators traced the 4 vendors through Cobalt Ridge Holdings to Adrian, his brother, and Victor. The $1.04 million had been divided among investment accounts, personal debts, and the down payment on a luxury property in Scottsdale. Adrian had expected the federal reimbursement to hide the payments inside a $38 million project. When I identified them, he altered the ledger so it appeared the money had vanished because of my adjustment. Then he created evidence suggesting I had moved the funds. He had planned every step except one. He did not know I had sent the document hashes and timeline to Rachel before he disabled my account. Those records prove the original reconciliation existed before the supposed shortage was created. Naomi returned to work after receiving full immunity for her cooperation. She apologized to me in the parking lot. "I thought you'd hate me, for the video, for not warning you." "You warned Rachel." "After I read their statement, you had children to protect. So did the people whose disaster money Adrian stole." She looked down. "I should have been braver." "You were brave while terrified. That counts more." Elaine terminated every executive who had helped conceal the retaliation. The company publicly cleared my name. Apex offered me my position back, with a promotion to Vice President of Compliance. I declined. Elaine asked why. "Because your company didn't fail from a lack of policies. What did it fail from? Too many people followed the policies only when powerful men allowed them to." 6 months later, I joined a federal contracting oversight firm that helped companies detect fraud before investigators arrived. Naomi became Apex's chief audit executive. Adrian eventually pleaded guilty to wire fraud, conspiracy, obstruction, and theft involving federal program funds. Victor cooperated and received a reduced sentence. Adrian's brother forfeited the Scottsdale property and more than $600,000 in investment assets. The recovered money returned to the federal emergency program. People still ask whether I knew Adrian would be arrested when I copied the document hashes and called Rachel. I didn't. I wasn't planning revenge. I was planning for the possibility that someone more powerful than me might rewrite the truth. Adrian believed firing me would erase the questions. Instead, it proved why the questions mattered. Because when someone punishes you for finding the missing money, you should stop asking where it went. You should start asking who is afraid you'll follow it.